Happy Monday, guys. Ryan Knows Tech here from techinform.us, our blog, and today's video is about Ubuntu. Not a request, but something that I wanted to make a video about. If you've been following my Twitter, you've probably seen my recent tweets about Ubuntu. I was always a Windows user. January of 2010 rolled along, and I became a Mac user. My desktop, you can probably tell I'm on a Mac. So, I've tried Ubuntu in the past on lesser machines that I've had that I didn't really want to run Windows 7 or OS 10 on. So, acquired this HP Pavilion. Sister used to have it until she got the MacBook Pro. So I thought I would take this and install the latest version of Ubuntu on, because everybody I've talked to has really mixed feelings about Ubuntu. People either love it, the best thing that ever happened since real cheese on pizza, or it's terrible. And I've always been kind of closer to the terrible side. Everything I've ever tried to do on my ThinkPad and my old HP, my old Pavilion, same specs as this, failed. Nothing worked. 8.04, 9.0, 9.1, 9.10. And now there's 10.10. I know there was 10.04. I never used that. Now it's 10.10. I don't know what the zero, I don't get how they do that. But I thought I'd try it. So yesterday I got the ISO, 64-bit, burned it to a DVD, popped it in the HP. For anybody that doesn't know, this thing is a AMD Tyrion TL60. It's 2 gigahertz dual core. It has 4 gigs of DDR2 memory and a battery that is apparently dead. So I can't show you that piece of crap. So experiences with Ubuntu 10.10 have been relatively negative. Following my Twitter, it installed about a third of the way the first time, and then it told me that there was some error and I needed to clean my optical disk or disk drive, or my hard drive may be faulted. So, okay. I cleaned the disk and the little laser inside the disk, installed again, and it worked fine. So there was probably a problem there. Thing hasn't been used in 8 months. So, thoughts on the install process. It was really relatively intuitive. Before, you had to really manually do all this stuff with the drives, and I really think that Ubuntu, it is not glitch-free whatsoever. But if it worked the way it were supposed to, it'd be nice. It was relatively quick. It took about 30 minutes. It was easy. I thought it was pretty easy. I didn't have to use the terminal to install an application like you would once you get inside the operating system. But it was nice. It really wasn't that bad. It was all user interface based, really intuitive, graphical, just a nice install process. So once you get into it, and I really should have dug the power cord out, it's a pretty quick boot. I should mention, on my second install, it gave me an error, and the error message was a picture. It just said error, colon, and then there was a picture. There was what looked like a credit card, not an equal sign, and then there was a circle with a man doing jumping jacks. What the hell does that mean? Who came up with this? A credit card equals man exercising. You have to pay for exercise? How is that an error? What is that? That's like foreign crap on this Ubuntu install that I downloaded in the English version. So I don't know I didn't know what that was. I plugged the power back in, started again. I didn't get that, so beats me. Then once I was inside the operating system, it was okay. There were some problems. Like, most of my drivers worked. I had a decent graphics driver. When I wanted to bump the effects up, when you go to settings, preferences, appearance, or something like that, it told me I needed to enable a new driver. Not a problem. It reminds me of Vista, though. Anything you try to do, you have to put your password in. There's probably a way to turn that off, but I have yet to find that. Anything you try to do, you put your password in. Update a driver. Oh, what's your password? It was really annoying. So once you got that part of it done, updating stuff, it worked okay. Like the graphical stuff, I'm not blaming Ubuntu as much as this dated hardware and this newer operating system. But to get that window wobble effect, I did have to update the driver yet again, a third time, requiring a third password enter. So when you wobble the window, the whole thing fades out. You can't really read any of it. And there's white lines going through it everywhere. And then when it stops, it takes a second and depixelates, and then you can read it. The lines go away. I really think that Ubuntu in general, the whole operating system experience, felt like a very, very, very early Windows beta, like the Vista beta, the Windows 7 beta build 6801. It was just really buggy, really glitchy, lots of graphics errors, lots of application working errors. Just a negative experience overall. And I know that so many people say that I've always had bad luck with Ubuntu and it's really a nice operating system. And I wish I could say that, but based on the two PCs I have in front of me, I'm not going to try it on the Mac. And then all the other PCs I've tried it on in the past, nothing has worked right. For example, every 15 seconds it dims my display down to save power. So I went in and turned that off. That was okay. But when it still did that, it wouldn't go back up again when I started moving the mouse, and I'd have to go functions and then go find that stupid key to turn it back up again. And then the little notification box that tells you where you are, how turned up and how turned down it is, that didn't work. I'd go all the way up and it would go about halfway. The screen wasn't getting any brighter, and the bar would still go up, and it was really pixelated, and it would just flash in and out. Awful. I mean, really, really awful. And I just think it's a really unfinished operating system. For example, I wanted to make the bar at the top, if you can see where my mouse is right now, I'm kind of moving that image around. That black bar there, I wanted to make it transparent. So I went in and I adjusted the transparency, and it only made from the Firefox logo across the blank part where there's nothing over to the Wi-Fi icon. That part was transparent. It worked beautifully. But where the text was, all of that was still black. Really? I mean, you haven't figured out how to do that yet, and you released it as the perfect 10 is here. Really? I don't call that perfect when nothing works. Then to install the Compiz stuff, I got most of that, I got all that installed, and then most of it doesn't work. You enable it, I ran all the commands to get it working. Ubuntu for me is a final resort. I mean, I would settle with DOS 7 before that. Just when you get it working, you can make it look incredible, so much better than Mac and Windows. There are so many awesome themes and effects, but to get that working, you've got to be one of those people that spends their whole day in their desk writing and coding and researching. And you know, I don't like to do that. So that's why I bought a Mac, because everything works when you turn it on, and it's beautiful, and it's fast, and it's affordable for the software. Anyways, not the hardware. Software is affordable. It just works. So sum this video up, the Mac just works. So leave your thoughts on Ubuntu below. I look forward to reading those. Our website, as I've mentioned before, is techinform.us. We've got lots of new content planned. I have to approve some posts tonight. But subscribe to the video if you like the content. Give me a thumbs up. Be reading those comments soon. My Twitter is twitter.com/JamesRSchultz. And then tomorrow night, as we do every Tuesday night, we'll be hosting our live web shows from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time on ustream.tv/techinformus. So have a great rest of your week if you don't tune in the videos later, or I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.